Imagine an AI, uh, one that doesn't just chat with you, but actually acts. Updating spreadsheets automatically, sending those crucial notifications, maybe managing your digital data without you lifting a finger. What if you could build that yourself? Beat. That's really the profound power of AI agents. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we try to cut through the noise, distilling complex topics down to the core of what truly matters. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating and pretty empowering world of AI agents. You've almost certainly interacted with tools like ChatGPT, right? You prompt it, it gives you something back. But what if you could move beyond just being a user to becoming an architect, actually creating your own bespoke AI assistant? So today we're going to unpack the essential components that make an AI agent tick. We'll walk you through a surprisingly practical example of building one kind of from the ground up. And then we'll explore why this isn't just a neat trick, but maybe a skill becoming utterly foundational for the future of how we work, how we interact with tech.
Get ready to shift your perspective, maybe from just a consumer of AI to its creator. Okay, so let's begin by really unpacking this idea. We're all familiar with chatbots. They're designed mostly to talk to you, right? To generate text. But an AI agent, that's a different beast entirely. It's purpose-built to perform concrete tasks in the digital world. What's the fundamental shift in capability we're talking about here?
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here is precisely that shift. Think of it like this. ChatGPT can talk to you, answer your questions. An AI agent, though, can talk to you, understand what you mean, then seamlessly turn around and, talk to Google Sheets to actually do something concrete, update a record maybe. Or it could talk to Slack to send a message. It really moves beyond just conversation to actual execution.
Right, execution. And to get that level of execution, it's not just one big black box, is it? It's composed of, three essential elements, almost like a digital nervous system guiding its actions. What are these core components?
Exactly. So first we have the brain. This is the large language model itself, an LLM, maybe something like OpenAI's GPT-4. It's doing the heavy lifting, understanding language, reasoning, generating responses. But crucially, for an agent to be truly useful, this brain needs memory. Without it, every single interaction is a completely fresh start. Imagine trying to have a coherent conversation with someone who instantly forgets everything you just said.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly frustrating, like having amnesia between sentences, basically.
Exactly. It makes the agent pretty useless for any complex, multi-step task.
Okay, so memory is key. A truly forgetful assistant would be, well, not very helpful. So with that memory layer in place, what then allows this brain to actually do things out there in the digital world?
That's where the tools come in. These are effectively the hands of the agent. They let it interact with the outside world through what we call APIs. An API, application programming interface. It's basically a standardized way for different software apps to talk to each other. So we're talking about integrating with services like Google Sheets, Slack, Notion, various databases, email platforms, really any digital service that offers an API. This is how your agent can read data, write new information, or modify existing records.
Got it. So the brain thinks and remembers. The tools act.
Yeah.
What's the secret ingredient then? The thing that truly brings this agent to life and dictates how it uses those tools? Is there a kind of command center orchestrating it all?
There absolutely is. And this is arguably the most critical part. We can call it the brainstem, the system prompt. Now, this isn't just a simple instruction like be helpful. No, it's a meticulously crafted set of detailed, clear guidelines you give to the brain. It defines the agent's entire role, its precise objectives, how it should behave in different situations, and most importantly, how and when it must use those tools. A really well-written system prompt. That's where your human intent literally breathes life into an otherwise generic language model. It transforms it into a truly intelligent, autonomous agent designed for a specific purpose. That's where the real leverage is in shaping its intelligence.
Okay, so if we boil that down, what's the core defining difference between a conventional chatbot you might use every day and a fully fledged AI agent?
Well, simply put, an agent doesn't just converse. It takes concrete, autonomous actions in the digital realm based on that conversation.
And that ability to take concrete action, that's what truly unlocks their power.
Okay, now let's move from the abstract to the actionable, because here's where it gets really interesting. The source material we're diving into today walks us through a fantastic, practical example, building a subscription tracker AI agent. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly useful, and it really kind of demystifies the whole process. How does this agent actually function from a user's perspective?
It really is a perfect starter project, yeah. You interact with it using natural language, just like you would with any chatbot. For instance, you might just say, hey, I just subscribed to Spotify Premium for 120,000 VND per month. The agent then quietly goes to work. It parses that message, intelligently pulling out the specific service name, the cost, the frequency.
Okay, but what if you forget a detail? Or maybe you're a bit vague. Does it just guess? Or does it actually engage with you? That's a great question. If something's missing, or if it's unclear, it's actually designed to ask for clarification. Hey, you mentioned Spotify. What was the cost again? Something like that. And then crucially, before it does anything irreversible, like writing to your spreadsheet, it asks for your explicit confirmation. Okay, add Spotify, 120K VND monthly, is that correct? That confirmation step is key for keeping you in control, maintaining transparency. Once you confirm, then it automatically adds a new row to a designated Google Sheet with all the correct structured information. And this basic project, it isn't just a novelty, it's a perfect foundational blueprint for way more complex, real-world agents. Think automated expense management or streamlined customer support.
That is fascinating. Simple, but powerful.
Yeah.
So to build something like this, what are the absolute basics, the accounts or platforms you need to get your hands on?
Right, the essentials. You'll need access to N8AN, that's the workflow automation tool used in the example. You'll need an OpenAI API key for the brain, and of course a Google account to connect your Google Sheets.
Gotcha. NEN, OpenAI API, Google account. Now let's talk setup, configuring that brain, and equipping those hands within NEN. Where do you even begin in the workflow?
Okay, so you start by setting up what's called a chat trigger in NEN. Think of this as your main communication gateway, right? The entry point for your conversations with the agent. From there, you add the central AI agent node itself. This is where all the intelligence will live. Then you connect the language model. The source material suggests a lightweight GPT model, maybe something like GPT 4.1 mini. The source actually recommended GPT 3.5 Turbo or a specialized mini model for beginners. It gives a good balance of performance, speed, and cost. And you connect your OpenAI API key here. It's worth pointing out that's a separate access key. It's different from just having a regular ChatGPT Plus subscription.
Okay. And as we touched on earlier, a raw LLM is essentially stateless by default. It forgets everything. It seems like a huge problem. So what's a critical step to give it a working memory to allow for fluid, ongoing conversations?
That's right. By default, they have that immediate amnesia. So to overcome this, we add a simple memory component. By setting a context window length, say, maybe around 14 interactions back, it lets the agent remember the previous parts of your conversation. This is absolutely vital for a useful assistant. It stops it from asking the same things over and over or just losing track of what you're trying to do. It allows for that natural flowing dialogue without, racking up huge processing costs for you either.
Makes sense. So once the brain can think and remember, you then give it its hands, specifically a Google Sheet in this case. How do you set that part up and connect it?
Right, the hands. First, you just set up a simple subscription tracker sheet in Google Docs. Give it clear columns like service name, cost, status, whatever you need. Then, back in HEN, you link this sheet using the Google Sheets tool. The key here is configuring the tool. You tell it to append row for new entries. Then you map the columns in your sheet to the data the AI needs to fill in. You'll notice a little sparkle icon in AAN next to the fields. That sparkle icon tells the AI to infer the data for those columns from what you, the user, typed in. It's pretty smart. Oh, and it's also a good idea to rename the tool to something clear, like add new subscription. That helps the AI understand exactly what that tool is for.
Okay, mapping the columns, using the sparkle icon. And then comes what you call the true magic, right? The brainstem, the system prompt. This is basically the detailed job description for your agent.
Yeah.
How do you even go about crafting something so critical? It sounds kind of intimidating.
It is critical, but it doesn't have to be intimidating. It really is an art form, though. The source material suggests a brilliant approach, actually. Use ChatGPT itself to help you write the prompt. You feed ChatGPT the details of your workflow, what you want the agent to do, and you give it a strict structure for the prompt you need back. You tell it. Define the agent's precise role, its core objective, the entire interaction flow, definitely, including that crucial confirmation step we talked about, specific tool usage rules, and even detailed data formatting instructions. The amazing thing is, even a tiny change in wording in this prompt can dramatically alter how the agent behaves. So once ChatGPT helps generate that powerful prompt, you just copy it into the AI agent node's system message option in NAN. Simple as that.
Wow, using AI to bootstrap the AI's instructions. That's clever. And then the moment of truth. You test it. How does that usually play out?
Testing is absolutely essential, yeah. You'd type something like, add my new Netflix subscription. It costs 260,000 VND a month. The agent analyzes your input, summarizes it back to you, asks for confirmation. Okay, add Netflix, 260K VND monthly. Sound right? And only after you explicitly say yes does it activate that Google Sheets tool. And boom, a new row appears in your spreadsheet. It's incredibly satisfying when it works. And the power of a well-crafted prompt really shines through when it handles ambiguity too. If you leave something out, it should ask, what's the cost? That shows the prompt is working intelligently.
Okay, so if I had to distill everything we've discussed about building this agent,
Yeah.
what's the single most critical part for really making it intelligent?
The system prompt. It's the operating brain. Its clarity fundamentally determines the agent's intelligence and effectiveness. Simple as that. Mid-roll sponsor read.
All right, once you have those basics down, the real fun begins, I imagine. Leveling up your agent. What are some of the first ways you can make it even smarter, more robust?
Yeah, good question. First, a really common enhancement is duplicate detection. You wouldn't want an intelligent assistant adding the same Netflix subscription twice, right? So to implement this, you'd add a second Google Sheets tool. This one you configure to get rows, maybe rename it check existing subscriptions. Then you update your system prompt again, the prompt is key, to always check for duplicates before adding anything new. If it finds one, the prompt tells it to ask you, the user, what to do. Hey, I see Netflix already. Do you want to update it or add this one anyway?
Ah, okay. Checking first. And building on that, what about making it capable of modifying existing entries, not just adding new ones? That seems like a natural next step.
Exactly. That's update functionality. So you add a third Google Sheets tool. This one's set to update row, maybe named update subscription. And this is where your system prompt gets even more sophisticated. You have to instruct the agent on the precise logic. When should it use the add tool versus when should it use the update tool? It's usually based on your response after that duplicate check. It adds a whole new layer of usefulness for sure.
Whoa. Hang on. Imagine scaling this further. You could easily integrate, say, a Slack tool to notify your finance channel whenever new subscription is added, or maybe a Notion tool to create detailed notes linked to each entry automatically. It's really like stacking Lego blocks of data and actions, all controlled by just talking to it. Imagine orchestrating multiple applications seamlessly, having them talk to each other to automate entire workflows. The possibilities really open up there.
They absolutely do. And as you venture deeper into building these agents, there are some essential golden rules for success, let's say. First, and this might sound obvious, but trust me, it's crucial, save frequently. Like CMDC trial plus S should become pure muscle memory. Losing work, especially when you're deep in tweaking a prompt, is just incredibly frustrating. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself, where you think you've nailed the perfect prompt, and then suddenly the agent starts doing something completely unexpected, sending you down a debugging rabbit hole for hours. Saving often lets me backtrack easily to that last known good configuration before things went sideways. It's like a digital undo button for your sanity, seriously.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. Definitely been there in other contexts. And then the wisdom of start simple, expand incrementally.
Precisely. Don't try to build Rome in a day, right? Don't start with an agent juggling 10 tools and super complex logic. Get a single core function working perfectly first. Then slowly, methodically, add layers of complexity. Test each layer. Also, and we really can't stress this enough, the system prompt is key. Spend the most time refining it. Even a tiny change in wording, a misplaced comma, a subtle tweak in instruction can dramatically alter the agent's behavior and performance. It's that sensitive. And finally, test thoroughly. Don't just test the happy path where everything works perfectly. Try ambiguous inputs. Give it incorrect data. Even throw edge cases at it that it isn't explicitly designed for just to see how it reacts. That's how you uncover vulnerabilities.
Right, pushes boundaries. And a very practical tip for anyone diving into this, monitor API costs.
Yes, absolutely. Every time your agent thinks, meaning it makes a call to the OpenAI API, you incur a small fee. Those tiny fees can add up really quickly, especially with frequent testing or if the agent becomes heavily used. So always start with those lightweight or mini models we mentioned, and keep a close eye on your usage dashboard provided by OpenAI or whichever provider you use. It just saves you from any nasty, unexpected surprises on your bill down the line.
Good call. So for someone who's just starting, dipping their toes into building AI agents, what's the single most important guiding rule to remember throughout their journey?
Start simple. Make sure your system prompt is crystal clear and test rigorously. That's the foundation. If we connect this to the bigger picture, learning this skill, building these agents, it isn't just about connecting apps or automating a few tedious tasks. It's profoundly akin to, say, learning programming back in the 80s or 90s, or maybe database management in the 2000s. This ability to converse with, instruct, and orchestrate intelligent agents, it really feels like a foundational skill for the AI-driven world we're rapidly entering.
You're essentially moving from being just a passive AI consumer to an active AI creator. And with that comes complete data control, which is huge. Incredible process transparency, near infinite customization possibilities, and perhaps most importantly, you gain a deep, first-hand understanding of both AI's immense capabilities and its current limitations. Ultimately, it's really about empowering you in this new technological landscape.
Yeah, this deep dive really highlights how AI technology, when understood and wielded by individuals, truly empowers us. It's not necessarily about replacement, but enhancement. Your journey, should you choose to embark on it, is only just beginning.
Which really raises an important question for you, the listener. What task, what tedious digital chore in your own life or work could be fundamentally transformed by your very own custom AI agent?
Yeah, think about it. Experiment. Break things. Fix them. Don't be afraid to dive in and get your hands dirty. Have fun with that creative process. Every complex, world-changing AI system started with just a simple idea and a simple first step.
Go out there and build something amazing.
We hope this deep dive has given you a useful shortcut to being well-informed and, maybe more importantly, inspired you to explore what's truly possible when you shift from just consuming AI to actually creating with it. Ochiro Music.